Hey everybody, I'm Paul, founder of Browserbase. We're here at the AIE Expo, and I'm with Karan, the founder of Composio. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Well, maybe starting off, can you tell me a little more about what Composio does?
Yeah, so Composio is the tool execution layer for AI agents. People building agents or using agentic harnesses like Claude Code, Codex, etc. They can connect their agents with outside apps via Composio, where some of the things they have to build themselves around context engineering, they don't have to. The things kind of like self-learning, self-improvements across all the users, we can take care of it.
And what gave you the idea to start this company? Like, where did it all come from?
It was actually, we were building our own agentic startup. We were trying to build Devin for a particular use case, which was integrations. And that was back in the days like 2023, pretty early. And the coding models were still not there. So we were running into a lot of trouble. But while building those agents, we realized that we had to give our agents a lot of tools, a lot of capabilities. And the foresight was that, okay, in future, everybody will be building agents, and different type of agents will need like different type of capabilities, connecting agents with Slack, Gmail, etc. And that's where it all started. We were solving our own problem.
Yeah, you were your own first customer, and I almost have to wonder if you had to start building that agent from scratch 2026, 3 years later, what would be different for you?
I would be using all the different tooling for sure. I mean, like the coding models have become insanely good. So I think that way it will be a much better journey. But I'll be using Browserbase for all the browser stuff, Composio for all the right integrations with GitHub, etc. So I think it will be much easier to build agents now. And given the models have, like this year, in my opinion, is the year for agents. I think Opus 4.6 was the first model that like essentially changed the trajectory, inflection point in agentic world. So I think it will be like actually more accurate and kind of you can build a business around it.
Yeah, it does feel like December 2025, the winter of Claude code is what I'll call it, really was an inflection point. How have things like OpenClaw shifted your business and what you're thinking about?
I think this year has been honestly phenomenal. Like OpenClaw and in general, like Opus 4.6, because it's so much better in tool calling, general agentic stuff. I think in like everybody is building agents. I think this year we have gotten like 50x to 60x growth from start of the year in terms of number of tool calls. So that itself, like people with OpenClaw outside are using us, and everybody is building agents. Like we have like AWS using us, Zoom using us, Glean using us, the best of the best agentic harnesses are using us. And the idea is it's not like just a product, but the market itself is growing so fast that yeah, it's we are riding that tide wave.
Yeah, and you said this word, agentic harness. I'd love to hear more about what a harness is to you. And I know I've heard a lot of definitions of what a harness is, but what is a harness?
In my mind, everything around the model that, l- like the system that you build around the model that lets it cook of sorts,
Yeah.
whatever task you want to do, a general system so that it works across different tasks. Yeah, I think that's in my mind the harness, and we are kind of like obviously Cloud Code is the big part of the harness, Cloud Code codexes, but we are owning the tool execution side of the harness. You are owning the probably the browser side of the harness where agents connect to the browsers.
Yeah, now I always wonder that, like, because the models have been RL'd on their harnesses, their stock harnesses, is it even possible to build a better harness around an agent?
I think, like, firstly, I personally believe it's not a unimodal world. It will be like multiple modal worlds where there's a cloud code. There will be like people using like open source models, Chinese models, dot dot dot, and yeah, I think there will be an advantage of like cloud models using just cloud code, but people want to use all the models all the time and don't want to get logged in. So there's one advantage there, and the second advantage is there's some shared learning where people want to kind of, let's say, have shared skills across all their different harnesses that they use, which is where like one of the things that I say is any company that is providing value, which is avoiding people lock into one harness and one like model company, I think that's pretty valuable.
Yeah. And then, like, as the models get better and better and the harnesses get better, what's left? Like, what problems do we have to solve to make agents work at this point? I'm curious, what do you think the next milestones are?
Yeah, I think the one of the things that almost all the model labs and a lot of companies are working on is like the layer of self improvement, self learning. I think that's in my mind a still not solved problem yet, and specifically in like compared to coding and knowledge work, there's a lot and lots of things to do there to kind of gradually make the model improve, learn from the environment, etc. So that's kind of like something that we are doing. A lot of like model companies are doing some part
Yeah,
of
of
it.
course. Yeah, continual learning feels like the next thing, right? Where as a model can get better and better and start to improve more and learn from its mistakes in the past, that becomes super meaningful for the models. And it sounds like the road to get to continual learning starts with data collection and maybe observability and evals. How do you think about that for your customers and the tool calls they do on you, collecting the right data to hopefully make their workflows better in the future?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. That's what kind of like we are trying to do. From our PLG customers, we essentially get like some really good use cases across like 10 million tool calls plus that are happening every single day. So it's like million of agentic trajectories that we convert and distill into skills, and that are available to every like the next time the agent kind of runs something similar.
Yeah.
So it's like one agent doing a task, the next task, the next agent doing something similar has something that it has already seen on Composio.
And earlier you talked about some of the customer logos you have, these AI companies. Have you seen adoption from unique types of customers, or what are some of the users of Composio that you didn't expect when you started?
We were always very PLG first, and that's where the initial expectation was a lot of startups will use us, which is all obviously happening. But the adoption in enterprises, specifically tech first enterprises, is pretty much crazy. Like everybody's kind of like, I think at this point, all the enterprises have realized that they also have to change their UX and make it more agentic, because otherwise their current UX will somewhat die. And so everybody is building agents, and we are essentially in the like infra stack for building agents, which is helping making their decisions pretty fast compared to what I was expecting.
Yeah. Do you feel like the future of models is, potentially open source more and more? I mean, GLM 5.2 just came out. How did that change how the customers are using Composio to the set?
I agree. I mean, like the idea is the whole trend of token maxing, as we can see, is somewhat also reducing. There are some restrictions on the model, as we saw, Fable, etc., getting some restricted access, and at the same time, the Chinese models, or like in general, open source models are catching up. So there is obviously still, I would say, a large portion of like tool calls on Composio still happen with Opus. That is currently the best model, but definitely like the other side of things are increasing in usage. We can see like the open source models, people are using it a lot with open clause of the world. And yeah, it's an increasing trend right now.
Do you think that Composio will train a model one day?
At some point, I guess, yes. I think there's a lot of value that is still remaining in providing the right infrastructure to the models.
Yeah.
And once, like the idea with Composio is to make knowledge work agents happen. And till there is a value in making those happen by infrastructure, we'll continue to do so. And after that, once we feel that leverage is kind of diminishing, we have a lot of data which we'll use to train some smaller models.
Well, it's an ambitious mission. You guys have come so far in the past 3 years, and I'm super excited to see what Composio does in the next 3 years, and maybe one day you guys will be training the model that we're using for agents. So, Karan, thank you for coming on the show. We really appreciate it, and hope you have a good conference today.
Yeah, thanks a ton for having me.